The Chicago Blackhawks are currently the worst team in the NHL. So today we're going to return them to their former glory. We're going to add one NHL superstar to the team until they win a Stanley Cup. And we are going to do that by spinning this wheel, which contains the two best forwards and the best defensemen from each NHL team. And we're going to see how many superstars it takes for Chicago to win a Stanley Cup. But first, we have to sim a season with the vanilla Chicago Blackhawks, and they honestly didn't do that bad. A 39-40-3 record, finishing with 81 points for 5th in their division. Obviously not making the playoffs, but they did way better than some teams. They also finished 24th in the entire league. Unsurprisingly, Patrick Kane led the entire team in points with 84, while also leading the entire team in goals with 48. Soderblom 909 save percentage with a 2.92 goals against average, winning 23 of 48 games played with 2 shutouts. And Nathan MacKinnon led the entire league in points with 106, while Austin Matthews led the entire league in goals with 55. And Georgiev led the entire league in wins with 43. He had 4 shutouts, a 909 save percentage, and a 2.65 goals against average. I'll tell you one thing, this is not happening in real life. The Columbus Blue Jackets are your Stanley Cup champions, sweeping the Vegas Golden Knights in the finals. Nathan MacKinnon was your regular season MVP. Evan Shattenkirk, I guess, was your playoff MVP. It's expected that one, and you didn't either, let's be honest. Now time to find out who the Blackhawks will be adding in the offseason. 3, 2, 1, spin it. What do we have here? I mean, there's obviously a bunch of great options, and we are going to get Roman Josi. I'm not complaining about that. I think Roman Josi will help out this decor just a little bit. And unsurprisingly, the Blackhawks are still not in playoff contention. They finished with a 36-34-12 record, earning 84 points for 6th in their division. And they finished one spot better than last year, finishing 23rd. We got Patrick Kane leading the way with 67 points and 34 goals, but Roman Josi was second on the team, so he's making an impact early. He had 54 points. Peter Mrazek ended up being the starter this year, and he did pop off a little bit, a 919 save percentage and a 2.57 goals against average, 2 shutouts for 21 wins in 47 games played. Looks like Boston had a great year because Pastrnak is your point leader with 108 points, Marchand right behind him at 97. Patrick Laine would actually lead the entire league in goals with 56. Tristan Jarry, a 923 save percentage, a 2.33 goals against average with 5 shutouts. He led the entire league in wins with 44. Pittsburgh would carry that momentum all the way into the playoffs as they win the Stanley Cup, sweeping Winnipeg in the finals. Regular season MVP was David Pastrnak, and your playoff MVP is Raquel. Who will the Chicago Blackhawks be adding next? Let's see, who do we got? We have Mr. Tage Thompson. That's a W. I mean, they're all W's, but that's a big W. This line is looking mighty fine, if I do say so myself. Rest of the team, and not so much. Well, the team got better, but they played worse. 35-39-8 record for 78 points, finishing 6th in their division, 29th in the entire league. That is a significant downgrade. I think EA did my man Tage Thompson dirty on this sim. 18 goals playing with Taves and Kane. That's just disrespectful. Patrick Kane was king once again in points with 87, as well as in goals with 42. Soderblom was our starter this time around. 18 wins and 50 games played. Not great. 4 shutouts, a 908 save percentage, and a 2.85 goals against average. Matthews led the entire league in points with 105. Marner and Nylander tied for second with 99, so I guess Toronto was having a good year. Matthews just casually dropped 64 goals to lead the league. Shesterkin and Georgiev tie for most wins in the league with 40. Georgiev, though, 4 shutouts, a 917 save percentage, and a 2.38 goals against average, was the best performing goalie in the league. And the Carolina Hurricanes are your Stanley Cup champions, beating the Colorado Avalanche in 5 games. Austin Matthews is your regular season MVP, unsurprisingly. Sebastian Aho being the playoff MVP. Well, Wheel, I don't know what I want, but I do know I want something good. Connor McDavid would speed up the process by a long shot. It's Sidney Crosby. I'll take that as well. Still not going to make the playoffs, I don't think, but we're definitely getting somewhere. Year number 4 is a terrible year. 36-40-6 record for 78 points, finishing last in our division. I think that's the same amount of points as last year. But I mean, the team's supposed to be better now. We have a new king of the castle, though. Sidney Crosby finished with 81 points to lead the way on Chicago. Patrick Kane still led in goals with 33, 1 ahead of Crosby. Peter Mrazek played 6 less games, but had 2 more wins at 19 wins with a 911 save percentage and a 2.56 goals against average with 3 shutouts. Definitely wouldn't mind landing on one of the 2 goalies. That's all I'm saying. Nikita Kucherov led the league in points this time around with 109. Him and Ovechkin tied for top of the league in goals with 54. Connor Hellebuck led the entire league in wins with 41. He had 2 shutouts, a 909 save percentage, and a 2.75 goals against average. So not really the best stats, but he still got the job done. New York Rangers are your Stanley Cup champions after sweeping the Winnipeg Jets in the finals. There's been a lot of Stanley Cup final sweeps today. I don't know what's happening. Nikita Kucherov is your regular season MVP, and Mika Zibanejad is your playoff MVP. Who are we stealing today? I don't even know. I mean, McDavid obviously is who I want, but I really want a goalie too. It is Ullmark. We did it. We got a goalie. Linus Ullmark decides to keep Soderblom because why not? Ullmark being added to the team is absolutely huge. I think we make the playoffs now. We are playoff bound in year number 5, finishing with a 44, 33-5 record, earning 93 points for 4th in our division and finishing 11th in the entire league. And Patrick Kane once again on top with 90 points. He also finished on top of the team in goals with 31. And Ullmark's debut in Chicago, 34 wins in 66 games played. Not even the best stats though, a 902 save percentage, 2.92 goals against average with 2 shutouts. Marchand and Landeskog tie for top of the league in points with 99, while Nathan MacKinnon led the entire league in goals with 56. Chicago's first playoff opponents are the Seattle Kraken. And they actually get the job done, winning the series in 7 games. And they move on to the second round to face the Vancouver Canucks. And after beating the Canucks in 6 games, they move on to the conference finals to face the Colorado Avalanche. But the Cinderella story run ends there, as Colorado would beat Chicago in 6 games. Colorado got the job done in the Stanley Cup Finals, beating Tampa Bay in 5 games. I mean, our first playoff run was pretty good. 22 points for Kane and Crosby tie them for top of the team, while Kane led the entire team in goals with 12. Thompson only scoring 4 goals. Lafferty scored more than him, for crying out loud. And still not getting the best performance from Ullmark ever, a 904 save percentage with a 3.20 goals against average. I think we need to boost the defenseman up a little bit still. Brad Marchand is your regular season MVP, with Nathan MacKinnon being your playoff MVP. Still no Stanley Cup, which means we spin the wheel once again, and we are going to get hopefully a defenseman. Honestly, it is going to be Matthew Barzal. We're gonna try this because Tage Thompson isn't flourishing as much as I thought he would on the first line, so we're gonna put Barzal on the left wing. From conference finals to not even making the playoffs by a long shot, 37, 35, and 10 record, earning 84 points. We finished 7th in our division, as well as 27th in the entire league. Patrick Kane led the entire team in points with 81, while also leading it in goals with 44. And Ullmark, 32 wins in 66 games played, 3 shutouts, a 908 save percentage, and a 2.79 goals against average. Brad Marchand led the entire league in points with 95, while Ovechkin led the entire league in goals with 57. Swayman led the entire league in wins with 43. He had a 910 save percentage, 2.67 goals against average with 2 shutouts. The Tampa Bay Lightning are your Stanley Cup champions after beating Nashville in the finals in 5 games. Regular season MVP is Brad Marchand, with your playoff MVP being Nikita Kucherov. I think a defenseman would be fun still. I still want to see it. I mean, McDavid, obviously. There's a bunch of good options. Brad Marchand, I mean, he did just win MVP. We'll take him. Brad Marchand will be taking over on the first line, so we got Crosby, Marchand, Kane, Barzal, Thompson, and Domi. Chicago returns to the playoffs with 46, 30, and 6 record, earning 98 points for 3rd in their division, also finishing 10th in the entire league. Sidney Crosby finished top of the team in points with 85, with Patrick Kane leading the team in goals with 44. Ullmark, 33 wins in 63 games played, 2 shutouts, a 902 save percentage, and a 2.97 goals against average. Still not anything amazing. Vitek Vanacek is your goalie of the year with 44 wins, 8 shutouts, a 913 save percentage, and a 2.70 goals against average. Facing off against St. Louis in the first round, we managed to beat in 6 games to move on to the second round for a little bit of hopefully revenge as we face Colorado. And sadly, we get no revenge as it goes the exact same way. We lose in 6 games. This time it would be Vegas who would move on to win the Stanley Cup, sweeping the Capitals in the finals. An 890 save percentage and a 3.78 goals against average, which is not good. Nathan MacKinnon is your regular season MVP, while Jack Eichel is your playoff MVP. We need a defenseman. We got defensemen all the time last video, but we're not getting any today. Can we please change that? We start with Yossi and we're getting Mark Stone. If we're getting a Vegas player, I would have liked Eichel, preferably, but this is gonna have to do, I guess. Team's looking good. The top 6 is amazing. The bottom 6 is not that good, but I mean, this defensive core is just not it. We need to upgrade it. We're starting to get somewhere. We make the playoffs 2 years in a row, a 43, 35, and 4 record, earning 90 points for 4th in our division. Patrick Kane led the way in points with 92, while also leading the way in goals with 45. Marchand was close, getting 39 goals. Nikita Kucherov led the entire league in points with 104, while also leading the entire league in goals with 57. Our quest for a cup continues. First round opponents, the Seattle Kraken, and we lose to them in 7 games, and now I'm sad. And the Kraken would make it all the way to the finals, but lose to Tampa Bay in 5 games. Kucherov was your Hart Memorial Trophy winner, regular season MVP, as well as your playoff MVP. It was the year of Kucherov. Well, since it was the year of Kucherov, why don't we add him to our team with this wheel spin? It would be fantastic, wouldn't it be, Wheel? We get McAvoy instead. That is a defenseman. I will allow it. Well, the Wheel must be a big fan of Boston because this is our third Boston player achieved from the Wheel. This was by far her best season yet, but we still don't even finish first in our division. We earn 112 points. Minnesota earns 113. Finished with a 54 24-4 record. Still a crazy year. Brad Marchand led the entire team in points with 82. 2 ahead of Crosby. Kane having an off year. Marchand would lead our entire team in goals as well with 40. Hallmark 45 wins in 70 games played, 7 shutouts, a 9.05 save percentage, and a 2.75 goals against average. And there he is, Hallmark. He did play 70 games, but he's finally the top goalie in the league in terms of wins with 45. We get to face our arch nemesis in the first round, the Colorado Avalanche. If we can win this series, we should be crystal clear to win a Stanley Cup. We have to get the job done here first. We absolutely have no luck in the playoffs, man. We lose in 7 games. And Ottawa made it to the Stanley Cup finals out of every team in the league, but they would lose to Calgary in 7 games. McKinnon is your regular season MVP. Nazem Kadri is your playoff MVP. Still haven't won a cup, and I don't know how long it's going to take. At this rate, it's never going to happen. We do get Zach Werenski, which is another defenseman, which is what we need. Definitely have a solid top 4 defense now. Werenski not the best defenseman on the wheel, but we'll take it. Finally, on top of our division with a 50-25-7 record, we earn 107 points, 5 points ahead of the second place Winnipeg Jets. Sidney Crosby 98 points for top of our team. Kane right behind him with 96, and Marchand up there with 92. McDavid on top of the league in points with 103, with Ovechkin being on top in goals with 52. Our first round playoff opponents are the Minnesota Wild. Can we please at least win a series this year?
No.
We sure can't. We lose to Minnesota in 6 games. Well, we would lose to the Stanley Cup champions, I guess, as Minnesota would beat Toronto in 6 games. Hey, but we finally got a regular season MVP, as Crosby would take home the honors. And I guess Marcus Foligno is playoff MVP, because of course he is. Why not? Show me Connor McDavid. If we get Connor McDavid, we're winning a cup. I can guarantee that. I'm about to just add him anyway. Ryan Ellis. It's a defenseman, but once again, one of the worst ones on the wheel. Well, Ryan Ellis had to be like a top 5 worst options on the wheel, but he is still an upgrade at least. Well, we just casually had a 60-win season. I still can't wait to lose in the first round. And obviously first in the NHL. Actually, it wasn't even close. We were 26 points ahead of second place, which was Tampa Bay and Washington. Kane led our team in points with 84, while Marchand led our team in goals with 38. 48 wins in 65 games played for Allmark. 6 shutouts, a 9.27 save percentage, and 2.09 goals against average. Soderblom, 12 wins in 17 games played, and no shutouts, but a 9.26 save percentage, and a 2.21 goals against average. Now, Brinkat was the top point getter in the league with 104, as well as scoring the most goals in the league with 50. And unsurprisingly, Allmark was the top goalie in the league. Well, this looks awfully familiar. If we lose in the first round to Minnesota again with the year we just had, I don't even know what to say. Luckily, it doesn't happen as we win in 5 games, and we move on to face the Winnipeg Jets in the second round. And can somebody with a straight face actually tell me how this sim engine works? I don't understand. We lose to Winnipeg in 5 games, which is fine. I'm okay with, but not losing a game 11-1. Carolina would beat Winnipeg in the finals in 7 games. Somehow Pasternak won the MVP when DeBrincat led the league in points and goals, so that doesn't make any sense. Natchez was your playoff MVP. I'm totally not salty while we make this spin. I'm fine. We'll be fine. I don't want a defenseman anymore, Wheel. And we can I respin? I'm respinning. I'm sorry. Not only did we get a defenseman, I don't even think it's an upgrade. It's Matheson. This is the worst player on the wheel. I'm cheating. I don't care. We just got cheated by the game. I'm cheating the system. We're spinning again. And we got Adam Fox. It's a slight improvement. And this game is so broken that I added Fox and it got rid of Ellis and kept McCabe on here. I guess Matheson would have been an upgrade from him. Whatever. We're still going to run this. It's still way better. If we don't get a cup this year, I'll make sure Ellis is there next year. I don't know why he's not there. He wasn't even in the scratch player column. He was just deleted from history. We finished with a 54-25-3 record, earning 111 points for second in our division, as well as second in the entire league. Dominant performance from our first line: Kane 102 points, Crosby 101 points, Marchand 91 points, Kane dropping 50 goals to lead our team. Can we finally win a Stanley Cup? Our quest starts with a 7-game series against the Dallas Stars. I mean, they're all 7-game series. I'm just letting it spin. Are we gonna choke? I would have cried. So many tears. We do get the job done. We face Colorado in the second round. I don't remember. Have we beat them yet? I don't think we have. And we're not starting today because we still lose once again in 6 games. Can't you tell how happy I am? Calgary are Stanley Cup champions, beating the Boston Bruins in 7 games. I'm not even looking at awards this time. I'm just focusing on the wheel spin. Make it a forward. We have so many defensemen. It is a forward. It's just Brady Tkachuk, though. I'm not getting excited about Brady Tkachuk. Sorry, Ottawa fans. Dude, this game really just wants McCabe to be on the team and not friggin' Ryan Ellis. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna add Matheson, because screw it. I'd rather have him than McCabe. And there he is. Matheson is on the team. Hopefully this is the final team update we'll have to look at. This is our defensive core, and our offense is looking amazing except for this Entwistle guy. I don't really feel like he's helping the squad that much. Another great season, 56 wins, 23 losses, 3 overtime/shootout losses for 115 points. First in our division. Marchand dominated, dropping 100 points on the dot, as well as leading our team in goals with 41. Facing the Anaheim Ducks in round number 1, this should be a literal gimme. If we lose to Anaheim, I don't even know what to say.
12 seconds later.
I am speechless. I am sad. I'm still not defeated, but I'm awfully friggin' close, EA Sports. We lose to Anaheim in 6 games. I don't know why why? How, why? I've had my fill officially, but Tampa Bay does win the Stanley Cup. If we get a defenseman that isn't a lefty, I'm not even gonna bother adding him. I want McDavid. We got Seth Jones, who we already have on our team, because I forgot to take him off here. Or for some reason we're spinning again because we already have Seth Jones. I'm sorry. I mean, what else am I supposed to do? I'm literally losing my mind if it wasn't obvious. Steven Stamkos should help a lot though, right? I mean, this looks like a Stanley Cup winning team, right? I'm not crazy. Like I said, no more stats and no more funny business. Just games. We win round 1 in 5 games. We have to face the Colorado Avalanche in round number 2. Like I said, I don't even remember if we've beaten them yet. Maybe once, if even, but we're finally breaking the curse as we beat them in 5 games. We've yet to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, but this could be our first appearance. We face Edmonton in the conference finals. I'm just gonna talk over the sim. It's been working so far, and it continues to work with another 5-game series win, and we face Carolina in the Stanley Cup Finals. Please just put me out of my misery, EA. Please let us beat Carolina. I just want it to be over at this point. It's a win. We've done it. I don't know why it took so long. You don't know why it took so long, but it did finally happen. We are Stanley Cup champions. Actually, look at these stats. At least Kane led our team in points with 25 in the playoffs, while also leading our team in playoff goals with 12. I mean, Allmark just played amazing. 937 save percentage, 1.73 goals against average. Well, I think the best part is the fact that we didn't win any single award except for playoff MVP, which was Patrick Kane lifting up the Conn Smythe. We had to add 13 superstars, if you want to use the word superstar for some of these players. I wouldn't exactly call Matheson a superstar. 13 players for Chicago to win a Stanley Cup. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.
I love you.